So I feel like I went through a bit of a whiplash going from Inuyasha Volume 9 to Volume 10. What I mean by this is, for the first like 8 volumes that I read online, yeah, I'm doing the illegal thing and reading these volumes online. So, um, those were obviously translated from the original tankobons, because at the start of, well, the volume, it shows you the volume cover, the inside cover, the back of the volume cover, all that good stuff, you know? Then out of nowhere, volume 9, and it was like, bam! Here are the covers for back when Viz was releasing it as singular fucking comic books. Viz did this shit to a lot of their manga way back in the day, before, and they would still collect it in, actual volumes, but they didn't have a magazine per se to showcase it. And I think that's finally when they came up with the idea where they decided, you know what, let's import Shonen Jump over to the States, but let's make it monthly instead of weekly. By the time they would come around to making that weekly, would be when smartphones started coming out, and people were basically paying attention more to what was happening in their apps than they were at magazine stands. But that's neither here or there. Now, what the whiplash comes in from is the fact that now, instead of having to read from left to right, I'm now having to read back from right to left again, which is very jarring in and of itself, and fuck, do I hate it. Like, son of a bitch. But I'm hoping from here on out there's no more flipped editions that are on this website that I'm using. I hope to fucking God there's no more flipped editions, because I do not like flipped editions unless it is the flipped edition of Blade of the Immortal, because of that, they actually didn't flip the art. Instead, they carefully took each panel, cut it out, and then pasted it back. That way, the art would remain the same. Only time I'll ever accept a flipped edition for manga. Other than that, fuck no. But anyways, we're not here to talk about flipped editions, now are we? No, we're here to talk about Inuyasha Volume 10. And this volume gives us so much more development towards not a character, but an object. A MacGuffin, if you will, known as the Jikon Jewel Shard. Or, sorry, the Jikon Jewel. Wow, there's no such thing as a jewel, Justin. Unless there is. Is there? I doubt there is. So the first half of this volume is basically the closure for Sango's introductory arc. Sango and Kirara's introductory arc, because Kirara is also a character as well who comes along with Sango. And I say she's a character because, well, she's there. Like, I don't really recall Kirara having any kind of, significant story arc whatsoever. And so, okay, basically what happens, Sango gets duped by Naraku, finds out she got duped by Naraku, finds out that Naraku is behind everything, and now she's part of Inuyasha's little clique, which consists of Inuyasha, Shippo, Miroku, Kagome, and now Sango and Kirara. And that's it. That's all you gotta know. Actually, that's a big fucking lie. There's a huge thing to do with the Jikon Jewel shards. First, it has to deal with this mummified, weird-looking yokai thing that is inside of a cave in the exterminator's village. Now, apparently there was once a Miko by the name of... Look at my notes here. By the name of Midoriko, who was able to basically cleanse the spirits of yokai. And the yokai did not like this, but they had no way to really come at her. Except that they pulled a onigumo, I should say, on this man who was deeply in love with her. And so they basically turned this guy into a behemoth monstrosity, and just, yeah. Well, they fought her. They fought her for a good minute, and she died in the process. But upon her death, she was able to cleanse other spirits and thus create the Jikon Jewel shard. Now, something I did not notice the first time around, or rather I really wasn't even thinking about it, was that Jikon, she means four. She also, by the way, she spelled as S-H-I, I'm not talking about a person here, okay? She also being how you would say death, which is why in Japan, number 4, which is a bad number, sometimes it's called yon. Yon means 4, as she also means 4. But Jikon, now kon is a counter kind of deal, okay? It's how you would count something, and I believe kon is the counters used when counting round objects. And so Jikon, the number 4 object, or object of the 4th number, and it's signifying of death. However, here's the crazy thing too, is that the Jikon Jewel Shard is not just a MacGuffin of destruction and death. It's actually also a MacGuffin for healing in the right hands and purifying people in the right hands, or getting purified by the right hands. Because apparently Sango's great-grandfather found the damn thing. It was so fucking corrupted that it was actually affecting people. They even tried to use it or touch it or whatever. And so that's why they gave that jewel to Kikyo. Sorry, I had to look at my notes for a second because I actually forgot her name. Sorry about that. Yeah, they gave it to Kikyo for her to cleanse the jewel itself, which happened. But then Naraku happened, and Naraku, being the dickhead that he is, well, we know the story between Inuyasha and Kikyo by now, so I don't need to really repeat it, now do I? No. Okay. So yeah. So there's this constant battle inside the Jewel Shard of Midoriko and that beast that she was fighting. And that's why the jewel is very dangerous, especially if it falls into the wrong hands. Now, if the jewel falls into the right hands, gets cleansed, and then is given to somebody, the jewel won't necessarily take over that person's heart. Which, Miroku had a talk with Inuyasha about this, wondering if once Inuyasha gains his prize, has the jewel shards in his possession, has the jewel in his possession, if he's still going to be the same person that he is. The same snarky asshole that he is with a heart of gold, or if he's going to turn into a full-fledged demon if he's going to end up killing everybody that he has formed bonds with up until that point. So we'll have to wait and see what happens with that. Also, it's kind of interesting to note that Miroku states that the Jikon reminded him of the soul, or rather the soul in the Shinto religion, because in Japan there's a lot of emphasis towards Taoism, Shintoism, Buddhism. There's some elements of Christianity in there, and even fewer elements of, I'd say, of Muslim in there. But for the most part, when it comes to Japanese medium, you're going to get stuff from Shinto, Taoism, and Buddhism, for the most part. Okay, another thing to mention, the souls that Midoriko was actually able to cleanse were humans, animals, trees, and rocks. The 4 types of souls that she was able to cleanse. And I guess all yokai can fall into any one of those categories. Now, my knowledge of yokais are not that great. But hey, I'm not going to dig any deeper into that. But anyways, back over, okay, to Miroku's whole Shinto and the soul. And he mentions there's 4 aspects to this. There is they're called the Mitamas, I believe. And I wrote this down too. There's Ara, which is courage, Kigi, which is kinship, Kushi, which is wisdom, and Saki, which is love. Or love is like the thing that comes very close to its description. Just knowing full well that Rumiko Takahashi decided, you know what? I'm going to create more of a lore for this inanimate object. Really astounds me, to be honest. And it's probably the best portion of this volume. The second portion of the volume, back to our Monster of the Week kind of deal, where they're fighting against a fake water god named Suijin. And apparently this fake Suijin, like, usurped the real one, trapped him inside of a fucking boulder thing, and I hope this shit ends in the first 3 chapters of the next volume, because I am not interested in it at all. I'm actually kind of bored with it, to be honest. It's just it does nothing really. The only good thing about it is now we're seeing how Sango is how she interacts with the rest of the cast. Only good thing about it. And also seeing further interactions between the characters, of course, you know. But for the most part, kind of guess how each character is going to react to each other and how they're going to react to other characters. But it did have a really funny moment, though, with this kid calling everybody an asshole, and Inuyasha just fucking punches him on top of the head. That was pretty fucking funny. Not gonna lie. Other than that, fucking boring. I don't like the second half of this volume. I really don't. It just seems so throwaway to me. Like, fuck. This is probably one of my issues with Rumiko Takahashi's works, is that, she'll build shit up, and then she'll bring all this, this plot progression, and then out of nowhere, you're kind of hit left field with a story that has nothing to do with any already established plot lines. And the worst thing is, a lot of times these stories, they're like their own little arcs, that do nothing. They do nothing for the characters. They do nothing for the overall plot. They do jack all shit. Maybe the only thing I could think of is even worth noting is the impact a heavenly weapon has on Tetsaiga. That's it. Or, actually, that's it for that story, I believe. Because I don't even think there's even a fucking Jikon Jewel shard involved in this shit. But usually that's also the case too. There's, the fact that a creature, spirit, or yokai, whatever, has a Jikon Jewel shard in them, and that's like, okay, that's our little piece of connectivity for the entire story. And with that being said, what did you guys think of Inuyasha Volume 10? For a split second there, I actually forgot what volume I was reviewing. Let me know in the comments down below. If you want to, give this video a thumbs up. Not sure that does anything anymore, but hey, it's nice to know if people like the video or not, regardless of this bad lighting. Actually, I don't think the lighting's that bad, but then again, I don't know any better. Also, hit that notification icon. It looks like a bell. Make sure it's ring-a-ding-a-dinging. That way, you know when videos come out from yours truly. Because I'm trying to keep a set schedule here with having Dorohedoro Buso Renkin on Saturdays and Inuyasha and Jigoku Raku Hell's Paradise on Sundays, with possibly random reviews during the week. Not too sure of what yet, but you'll have to, I guess, wait and see. And you won't know if any of that comes out unless you have that icon ring-a-ding-dinging. Like it's fucking Christmas, but it's not Christmas because we're still in March. As of this recording, March 31st, 2021. When you'll be seeing this video, probably on April 3rd, 2021. So yeah, y'all stay blessed.